Welcome to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. This is episode 148. We are in the back half of September here. Fall is like literally right around the corner. It's a couple of days away. And summer's just kind of petering out. You know, it's actually a nice summerish day out there today. We're in the 80s here in New York. Beautiful sunny day. Probably, the last of a handful we'll have, I think, as we progress into fall. But it is what it is. Kids are full swing in school, as I'm sure your kids are out there, those of you who have kids, and we're all just grinding. So let's just dive right in. So I'm going to share, I guess this is going to be another sort of Thoughts of the Week style podcast. I'm just going to share like a little story with you guys, and we'll take it from there. So the last few years I've had this like big construction project going. And I'm getting towards the tail end of it, and things. It's a few months left. Kind of like just a lot of fine details, etc. And I'm a attention to detail guy, as many of you know. My core values: care, compassion, integrity, attention to detail, and accountability. The four things that are important to me. Attention to detail being very important. And a lot of like little details have been kind of getting like slipping through the cracks. I mean, a lot of little details. And I was talking to my one of the folks on my construction team, and I said, "Hey, man, like all this stuff is like slipping through the cracks. We need to like tighten things up." And there's a lot of moving parts. So there's the contractor, the architect, the subcontractors. There's like literally a million things happening at once. And as is understandable, like towards the end of a project, things can get somewhat chaotic. Everyone's all the trades are trying to finish up what they're doing, and there's a lot of communication between teams, et cetera. So, more people, more moving parts, more chances for things to kind of slip through the cracks. Of course, me being who I am, I'm very observant of things slipping through the cracks. And one of the things that my builder rather, said to me was, at this point, you gotta pick and choose your battles. Don't get lost in like the little stuff, something along those lines. And, to which I replied, it's all about the details. The details are what separate, good from great. Screwing up a bunch of small details leads to big headaches down the road. And, I use the example of, what differentiates folks like, Simone Biles, Venus Williams, Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, LeBron, Michael Jordan. What differentiates those folks from the rest of the field is the crazy attention to detail. That's what makes folks great at what they do. I used this example before. I don't know if I've used it in a podcast, but you can give folks the same paintbrush, the same paint, the same canvas, the same easel, all the same tools. 95% of everything could be exactly the same. But everyone's not a Picasso. Picasso's Picasso because, of course, he's immensely talented. But, in his mind, there's like crazy attention to detail that's going on. And that sort of thing, differentiates him from other painters. You can take dermatologists, for instance. If you take U.S. graduate MDs, so, folks who went to an allopathic medical school in the United States, graduated from medical school, did the residency somewhere in the United States, and are board certified in dermatology, 95% of our training is exactly the same. Our credentials are like 95% the same. But what differentiates somebody from somebody else? Well, it's that attention to detail. The best. So like, for instance, folks doing Botox, we have the same Botox, we have the same needles, we have essentially the same training. The folks that are the best, who are like top of their game, are just more attentive to the fine details. They're more perceptive and in tune to the nuances in their patients, and are able to deliver an optimized result, an outcome that is better than their colleagues. That's what makes the best in any field. In golf, like the difference between like the top golfer and the 100th ranked golfer is literally like 2 strokes. But there's a little fine details that enable them to be like 2 strokes on average better than the 100th ranked golfer. I mean, imagine that. It's such a fine little difference between the guy at the top and the guy who's 100th ranked. But the details, fairways hit, greens hit in regulation, putts, all those sorts of things, those little the practice routines and whatever goes into being attentive to those fine details, that's what separates great from good. So, moral of the story is, for to achieve greatness, to be great at anything, the devil, as they say, my contractor said, the devil's in the details. I said, no, excellence is in the details. Those who are excellent and are at the top of their game, doing the best that they can, whether it be like professionally or personally or in sport or whatever it may be, it is those details. If you read about Tom Brady and how attentive he was to his diet and his rest and his fitness and his recovery and all those sorts of things, every detail is so dialed in. That's what makes him the GOAT of quarterbacks. Same sort of thing. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Venus Williams, Simone Biles, all of these folks. It's that fine attention that they're paying to those little nuances, little details. It literally could boil down to what type of shoelaces they're wearing, what kind of insoles they have, what they have before a match or a game in terms of their nutrition, all of these little things. These little tiny fraction of a percentage point things add up, and that is what differentiates good from great. So with that, I hope you all have a wonderful, restful weekend and are just ready to crush the week ahead. Let's get it.